Hey everyone, JC of StarCraft here, bringing you Game 3 of the semifinals between Socke and BratOK for the Go4SC2 August Finals. Action getting started here on Kulos Ravine. This map I think is chosen by Socke. The series is tied 1-1. Both players, of course, some of the top players in the world right now. BratOK, one of my favorites. He was supposed to participate in the IEM challenge, but unfortunately because of visa issues was unable to make it. And funnily enough, his stand-in Murrow actually took the entire tournament, and Murrow right now is on a tear, just winning tournament after tournament. Not someone that you really want to go up against. Has all the confidence in the world. There will be actually a champion versus championship battle between a show match, I think, between Huck and who won the MLG and Murrow who won the IEM battle going down. Maybe they will face off against the GOM-TV, the GSL, the Global StarCraft League, which has that incredibly huge cash prize. If you don't know about it, it's actually happening this weekend. But GOM-TV, one of the big TV stations in Korea, I actually don't know that, but I'm assuming that, decided to host this enormous cash prize purse, $170,000 cash purse for StarCraft 2. The first place winner, I think, gets half of that, gets something like $85,000. So if you win that, you're pretty much set for the entire year, and you can boast and buy, all sorts of StarCraft paraphernalia and, make your own StarCraft statue if you really wanted to in the game. But that championship is it's a 64 players, dwindled down from something like 2,000 who went to the qualifiers. Only 4 non-Korean players actually in that tournament. But later, we're going to talk about that a lot later. That's going to be coming up this weekend, but stay tuned for that. There's going to be the huge StarCraft news coming out. And BratOK right now going to be going with a pretty standard opening, as he has done in every previous game. Socke, I think, knows that his opponent might even just opt for that Colossus very early on. In the previous game, tried to pressure with some chrono boosted zealots early on, was unable to do that. BratOK very, very good at microing his Marines. That is his bread and butter. Really likes the bio units and what he can do with them. Oh, excuse me on that. Possibly need some water, but I'm out of water right now around me, so this is all I really have, and just going to be broadcasting away, trying to get to the finals. BratOK trying to poke away with this SCV. Socke doesn't really care, as that SCV won't be able to do too much damage for a good amount of time, and just opting to wait until his Cybernex core so that he can get the Stalker, which was a little bit different last game and slowed him down just a little bit more. BratOK, meanwhile, going to get that factory up and going to 1-1-1 really so that he can either pressure with early Banshees, which I doubt he will do in this game. And looks like it's 2-gate right now for Socke. Interesting. As Marines, he did detect that the Marines were streaming out when they blasted away. So maybe kind of a feint by BratOK at that point, to force this 2-gate coming out, because normally this normally from Socke goes straight for the Cyber Core. I'm sorry, not Cyber Core. Blah 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 blah. The robotics facility. So right now we have 2-gate. Might be going 2-gate first and then into the robotics facility, but maybe worried about some sort of early pressure from BratOK. Although BratOK is kind of bunkering down right now and turtling in, waiting until he can get his favored units, which is that medevac in the air, or possibly if this tech lab goes down on the factory, he might be going. A tech lab is a reactor already going down for BratOK. So looks like he's not even going to opt for that Banshee on this game, knowing that his opponent goes for, pretty much goes for Stalker right off the base. So it looks like 2-gate first, and then before that Robo facility goes down. So 2-gate Robo yet again for Socke. A little bit of a change there. Thought he might be going something different, but probably not. And I think he's not super afraid of that Banshee coming in with the cloak, so not going to pump out that observer as fast as possible, but instead just going to bulk up on his army. And right now BratOK is holding the opposite Zelnaga Watchtower. Socke trying to scout things out a little bit here. Really only has this sentry out to defend right now, getting a little bit behind, and now going to be getting the robotics bay immediately. Is an observer going to come out at this point looking at the production tab? No, warp is being researched, but knows that his opponent is going to go, just can count on the fact that BratOK will go bio units against you. Would love to see some difference in this game. Even is going to use the factory as a scouting factory, as he does not use this at all. BratOK probably has a shirt that has a factory with a circle and a crossed out sign next to it. So Raven coming down immediately to kind of fish out any of the fish out any of the observers, but Raven's playing a very important role for BratOK as the point defense drone used very liberally by him and doing a great job at holding off against the stalkers, drawing away fire, especially when he has Vikings up in the air trying to take down the sacrificial. So sacrificial SCV coming in the front and sacrificial factory now coming in the back, although this factory will last a very long time as there's almost no anti-air for Socke. He will see that Thermal Lance is being researched already and just going straight for the Colossus in this game. Doesn't even want to waste any time at all. Socke does have this probe right here to detect any sort of push in from his opponent. These Marines are wondering whether or not to shoot the rocks, but there's no command from above to do it, so they're just going to stand there and stare at it for a little bit, trying to make a decision on their own, but that's just not their cup of tea. And now this factory is just going to run around seeing everything going out, does see that Colossus in the air, so I think he's going to switch over, yep, and he's going to get the Vikings as fast as possible right now. And so here come the Vikings, landed a little bit notice that he wasn't getting the double production, so just missed that landing just a little bit right there, but not too much to worry about as the Vikings will be streaming out very, very soon. A few Marauders coming down to help take that out, and the factory, you know, could be landed somewhere and cause some sort of damage if it wanted to, but not really used by BratOK much at all. Would rather spend his money on these lovely Marines now streaming across the field. Concussive Shell and Stim finally being researched for BratOK at this point, and feeling comfortable to try to take the middle of the map. Socke is going to be throwing down a pylon here to hold it down as well as reinforce, but that's going to fall down pretty quickly. Unfortunately, caught just as it was finishing, so unable to cancel. The probe runs away with its, I don't even know if it has legs. I don't think probes have legs, actually. So with its trail of energy between its underside is what you could call it. So now Socke already has a pretty formidable army against BratOK, but BratOK does have the Vikings out right now. PDD going to be going down to absorb any fire, and the Vikings just going to be taking free shots at the Colossus in the air, unfortunately. So a very key component is this Raven in the mix, and sorry about that, my phone just ringing for a little bit. BratOK now going to be chasing down this this SCV, going to be chasing down this probe, and BratOK going to temporarily retreat as he does see a big force incoming and would rather fight at his base and wait for more Vikings to come out. I think Socke at this point really needs to try to abuse the high ground if he can, although if he does go up here, it's going to be dangerous for the Colossus, as they will, you know, the high ground won't be really abusable. And now just spraying down the front. What is going on? Oh no, Socke overextending the Colossus, and just, oh, the unfortunate clicking for Socke at that point. Not a little embarrassed by that as well. Might have been lag or something, but not so thrilled that happened, obviously, and threw down the force field a little bit too late. The Colossus were overextended at that point. There is that factory there right now, but unfortunately, it just seems like that's going to set Socke back significantly for this game, unfortunately. And now BratOK going to be pushing out, going to be, you know, you got to use anything to your advantage if you can, and combat shield is going down, so it looks like Socke is just going to try to reinforce with ground units, going to pump out another Colossus, but having lost those two of them just kind of needlessly, pretty unfair trade. Looking at the units lost, like in terms of resources, that was a very big loss for Socke at this point. And this factory going to explode pretty soon. BratOK trying to reestablish that middle position, and I think possibly thinking to be pushing ahead because he knows that he did snipe out those Colossus without too much damage in return, so might have a bigger army at this point. Actually does, and in fact Socke is supply blocked right now. Kind of use those pylons, and now summoning a pylon right here to do some tricky backdoor action, but not going to be able to reinforce his units just yet, and he's going to be even more supply blocked as he had to cancel one of his pylons, another one getting taken out at that time, and still supply blocked at this point, even though he did rebuild the pylons, but unable to pump up more units right now. So BratOK going to be pull ahead temporarily and going to be using this time while he's pushing down the front door to take his expansion down. Two Colossus out for Socke, but if he hadn't had sacrificed those two, might have had, like, you know, even more Colossus out at this point. So unfortunately, BratOK looks like he's going to be going for some sort of backdrop, trying to do the two-pronged attack yet again, whereas his front army just standing there in front and catching the Colossus off guard yet again. These Colossus just don't know what to do. PDD is down, so there's no defense, no way to take down the Vikings, and so unfortunately for Socke, almost everything just going down. Great multiple pronged attack for BratOK at this point, and it looks like he's just not going to be able to hold this off. The Vikings are probably going to drop down on the ground and help reinforce everything. No more Colossus for Socke either, and now just a ground army versus ground army battle going down. Socke might be able to take it, but he's going to lose almost all his economy while he does so, as the Vikings have landed and are just spraying away at the probes right now. So Socke able to hold off, but at what cost really? Cannot be pumping it out anymore. Temporarily can't be pumping out any more Colossus, losing a ton of harvesters in the battle. Meanwhile, it looks like BratOK is just streaming in more units, up 64 to 32. So BratOK with a win there. Unfortunately, that's just that one minor error from Socke, I think, really just cost him the game. And I think he knew that when it occurred. These games at the pro level, very much a game of chess. You really don't want to lose any advantage that you can. In the first game, Socke just really eked out that economic advantage, never let BratOK catch up at all, and just kept his macro up high and going the entire time. BratOK now going to be pushing in with an MM and might have enough actually to take out Socke right here. Socke doesn't want to give up though, is establishing his expansion right now. And a GG from Socke. So BratOK wins it 2-1 and going to be moving on to the finals. Great game from both players. A little bit of a misstep for Socke, but you know, I'm sure he's going to be mad at himself the rest of the day for that. But great job from both players. This has been JCS StarCraft, and I'm signing off.